Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
Andrew McCart, iFLTV, delighted to be joined by Coach Swifty, Stephen Smith himself. Stephen, how are you, mate?
All good, mate. Yourself?
Very, very well. Listen, a good fight card tomorrow night. Loads of Scouse talent. I just spoke to Frank Smith there and I said, Liverpool's always been that fighting city. I remember maybe 8-10 years ago, there were your brothers, Tony Bellew, Derry Matthews, a good solid crop of Scouse boxers that were here, there and everywhere. But you've got a solid young crop of Scouse boxers coming through. Could they bring back the golden era of Scouse boxing?
No reason why not, mate. As I say, remember when I was coming up myself, and there was a lot of talent in and around the city, and I don't think it was sort of like looked at the time as like, oh my God, look at this. It was just normal. Like, boxers are normal. If you're a boxer in the city, it's 10 to the dozen, you know what I mean? It's not like you're a sort of one-off. I remember being on the England team, and some of me England teammates, I'd be like the only one from their city, and they were like superstars in the city because it was quite unique. In Liverpool, everyone boxes, like everyone goes to a boxing gym, everyone has a go, and a lot of them are quite good. So being a good boxer in this city is just second nature. So it's good to be a part of, but it's also good to have people next to you who are pushing you and who are doing what you're doing. So these will love being in and around each other, and you know they'll help push each other on, and hopefully, as you say, we'll get another generation of top fighters.
Talk about a fighter that's very, very good, and he's a ticket seller. Is your fighter Ste Clarke? I tell you what, you know yourself the business side of boxing, Stephen, right? It's all well and good being a good fighter, but a promoter is going to look at the other things, the ticket sales, this, that and the next thing, how you sell yourself on this big stage, how you sell yourself in interviews. That's what promoters look at. And Ste Clarke has got that other element to him where he can sell tickets, because what has he sold? Over 300 tickets in 10 days' notice. I mean, that's as well as the fighting skills, he's got that as well.
Yeah, listen, it brings a lot to the table, do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, boxing's a business, and you know, it's about what money can be made and stuff, and if Steve's fighting, he's going to sell a shed loads of tickets, and you know basically he's going to pay for his fight, pay for the undercard, pay for whatever else, because he's going to make a lot of money when he's on bills, and that's how it works really. If you're going to bring a lot to the table, then more promoters are going to want you on shows, and the fans are obviously excited about him because the kid can fight, and if he's going to make a noise the way he is, you know, his debut was something else, seeing the atmosphere he made, and as I say, they put him on this one last week, and you know he done another load of tickets again. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a good journey. I'm proud to be a part of it.
The thing with Steve, it seems like every fight week he's on, there's Jimmy Sainz mentioned to him. Now we know the amateur background. It's one each, ABAs and the Tri-Nations. I think it is. Don't quote me on that. One each on each tournament. Now, obviously that fight, it can't build. It doesn't have to happen now. I don't think you as a coach want it to happen now. You probably think to yourself, let's do it for a British title or a European title maybe.
Yeah, listen, they're both babies in the pro game. I think they've both turned over around a similar time. I think Steve's having his third. I think Jimmy's had 3 or 4 himself. Look, we're in the Ste Clarke game. You know, at the end of the day, I'm Ste Clarke's coach, and I want to map his own route out. Does that involve Jimmy Sainz right now? No. Will I keep an eye on Jimmy's career? If I see him at shows, I'll probably obviously watch him and hope it does build to something, because at the end of the day, if in Steve's best interests, I do think having a domestic rival like that does, you know, we've seen all the past greats from our country have always had sort of a dance partner, and when they're built up the way they have been in the past, you know, the Brits love a local, you know, domestic derby type of thing, and you know, Liverpool, London, it would sell, and both are really good fighters, by the way. You know, I do rate Jimmy, so I think if that could be built up and they could fight later down the line, where people have watched both of the progress at the same time, you know, there'll be nights when sort of maybe Jimmy fights well and Steve not so well, and there'll be nights when Steve really impressed and Jimmy not so much, and that'd be good for both of them. And if they can be built up well and they can fight down the line and both earn a few quid, then why not? It'd be good to see.
Obviously, how are you finding the coaching game? I mean, that's what you've been in the corner a good few times now. Charlie Edwards, Steve a couple of times as well. How are you enjoying it? I know before you were a coach, like you were out of boxing for a long time. Your brother Liam and Callum were still fighting. Paul was still involved in managing fighters, and here, there, and everywhere. It was always at shows. But you took that big step back, and now you came back in. And every time I look over at you and you're talking to people, you're always shadow boxing, Stephen. You're always moving and dipping and bobbing and weaving. So I'm guessing you're enjoying it.
Yeah, but that's why I needed the break from boxing. I never felt like I got any closure on my own career, because I won my last 3 fights. I was hoping on an opportunity. COVID happened, and I was a bit like, I think I'm retired here. It was just sort of stopped. So I knew I needed the break. I missed boxing. I'd love to have carried on boxing, and I sort of had to step away from it to put closure on it for myself in my own mind, just mentally to be refreshed and to be ready to go into the coaching. And now the coaching starts, I feel like I've got a purpose again, and I'm really enjoying it. I feel I've got a good boxing brain where I can read the sport well, and I can read fights well, and I can plan for my own fighters, and help them improve their own careers, and technically, tactically be there for them to make sure that they've got the best advice going into every fight.
I just obviously step away from all this, and I do want to get your thoughts on sort of like what's happening in the boxing world of late. And I want to go back to last weekend with Ryan Garcia's win over Devin Haney. Talk to me about the fight itself, Stephen, and the whole build-up of Ryan Garcia. I mean, you talked about the mental state. You took a break from boxing to make sure you're mentally right to step into the coaching game. Mentality in boxing is crucial. Now, talk to me about the sort of build-up we just witnessed from Ryan Garcia and the fight itself.
I was a bit like everyone. I was a bit unsure about what was happening with Ryan. Some of the interviews and stuff he was doing were crazy. But I was one who said, I pick him to win. I felt like he can punch, and I thought if he was going in there, maybe not so mentally switched on, it may help him just let his hands go. And if he lands on Haney, then you can see he can punch. He can punch freakishly hard for his weight. So I thought, write him off at your pedal. You know what I mean? If he's going in there with that mentality where he doesn't really care, he'll either beat Haney or he'll get disqualified. You know what I mean? I thought something mad happened maybe in that way, but it was one of them. Listen, he went in, he let his hands go, and every time he seemed to land clean, he seemed to hurt Haney. So I thought it was a well-deserved win for himself, and hopefully he was putting it on a little bit, and he is mentally all right, because at the end of the day, his mental health and welfare is more important than the sport. You know what I mean? So I genuinely do hope he's okay, and hopefully on the back of that performance, he is okay, and he can go on, and he can get bigger and better things going down the line. And it was a shame for him not doing the weight, because he's now not world champion, and he should be. But at the end of the day, if he gets himself right and he knows now what he can do, then you never know what the sky's the limit for him.
Last week, Terence Crawford against Israel Madrimov. As a boxing man, I'm sure you like that fight. You like the look of that one, Stephen?
Yeah, I really do. I'm a massive fan of Terence Crawford. I think he's pound for pound number one in my opinion, and there's nothing going on that's knocked him off that perch. In my opinion, I just think 2-8 undisputed champion. I know he's done it since, but I just think Crawford's, he's now on his way to attempt to be a 3-weight undisputed champion, which is just, it's unbelievable, really, when you think about the magnitude of what he's doing and what he's attempting to do. And I wouldn't write it off, really. I think if you look at what I seen in an interview yesterday when he said goes and wins this one, now Madrimov goes and fights. If Figueroa fights him, it's for the two belts are going to be on the line or whatever, and there's only one more.
Interim WBO, yeah.
Yeah. So he was saying about there being two on if he fights him, or if he doesn't, he's going to get one anyway. So he's got his route mapped out in his head already to go and be a 3-weight undisputed champion, which is just, it's freakish, to be honest with you. But he is that good, in my opinion. I think he's the best about, and I think it's obviously always up for debate, the pound for pound ones, but I think Crawford's my favourite at the minute.
Stephen, normally when we get these pound for pound greats, the only thing that beats them is going up that weight division and fighting a bigger guy who matches them in sort of like a little bit of skill set, but they're just obviously that little bit too big. Is 154 his limit, or do you think he can go into 160?
Do I think he could win fights at 160? Yeah. Do I think he could go to 160 and unify it? Probably not. I just think it depends on the opponent. Like, for example, if he went to 160 and it was Canelo the other side of the ring, I'd pick Canelo. As much as I'm a massive fan of Crawford, I do think he's another level in terms of size. Looking at it, I do think he'll do it at 154. I do think 160 could possibly just be a step too far. But again, I wouldn't write him off for doing it. And I think he is that good. He's one of them generational talents where he's unbelievable at what he does. The way he can fight, the way he can manipulate fighters when he's up close and put them into positions they don't want to be in. I think he's freakishly good, and I do think he'll go and dispute that 154. It's just whether he can move on again, I don't know.
I'll put you on the spot a little bit on this final question, Stephen. Now, I think Crawford's 36 and he's 40-0. I think that 41 or 40-0. I believe he's 40-0. A lot was made of Mayweather making that 50-0. Crawford's been undisputed twice. If he becomes a 3-weight undisputed champion, is he a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather? Had a better career than Floyd Mayweather?
In terms of achievement. If he goes and gets a 3-weight undisputed, then you've got to say yes. And if he was to retire undefeated as well, then I think no doubt about it, yeah. If you look at opposition faced, again, he's not done yet, Crawford, so we can't really judge him. But I do think Mayweather had unbelievable names across his career. I think the thing with Mayweather was sort of he done it at a time when he was probably getting a lot more stick than what was deserved, because it was as if he was handpicking the opponents. But when you look across his resume, there was some unbelievable names on there. It would have been amazing to see them up against each other, maybe at like welter or something. I'd love to have seen that fight, you know what I mean? But I think if Crawford goes on and gets a 3-weight undisputed, then in my opinion it's a better achievement than what Mayweather has done yet.
Stephen, as always, I do appreciate your time, and good luck tomorrow night, and all the best, my brother. Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.